Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming for some reason. I don't know why.
Because we're here every week, Duran. That's why we're here. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Gupper in the game talking about a 20-point win for these guys and a 20-point win for these guys. Say hello to Darryl Bird of the Cat's Paws.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Louisville took out UConn, which took out UK, unfortunately, twice last year. Big difference. UConn didn't even have a coach. Of course you win by 21 at home. The other team doesn't have a coach. Come on, guys.
Howie Lindsay from the Louisville Sports Report.
You got it. UConn's looking rough. But I tell you, I'm glad that UK's finally playing some ranked teams again. I mean, essentially they went all of January with nothing, and now they're back into a backloaded SEC schedule. Now we'll get some real tests for these cats.
Let's get into it right now as we jump into our lightning round. What's hot for the University of Kentucky is pretty much everybody dressed in blue these days. The University of Kentucky, if you're looking for the best college basketball being played right now, go to wherever the Cats are lacing them up.
Well, listen, I mean, they're very, very good. There's not like one thing necessarily you do against them that is a formula to win.
We got a lot of weapons. If I'm out on tonight, then somebody else pick it up for me. Last year we didn't really have that really, but this year we got a lot of weapons on offense and defense. We play very good defense, and we got a lot of shot blocks on the team.
What we need to do is have a team come out and go nutty on us and have us have to respond to that and then hold on to win a tight game. And this is a team that will, again, it'll be a different game at Florida, I promise you. I know what it'll be down there.
Mr. Calipari, you may get your wish Saturday at Vanderbilt. Those guys may go nutty on you with game day and all that, but in the meantime, I'll go back to Billy Donovan. He's absolutely correct. I've never seen a team that has so many weapons that you can't figure out how to shut them down. If you take away Davis, you're dealing with this from Deron Lamb now that he's hitting threes. They've got guys that can shoot threes. They got mid-range. They got the lobs. They got the transition. They got the best half-court defense in the country. Fast becoming one of the best pressing teams in the country, which they didn't use a lot until here late. So they have the complete package, and it's really, really tough to figure out if you're the opposing coach. What do I try to take away because I can't give up everything?
Darryl, one of the storylines that I don't know has developed yet, but I'm sure it will, Kentucky's peaking too early. Is there any concern about that kind of a storyline? There's
a little bit of concern just because you don't want to be too good too quick, but I dismiss it because they still haven't played. They got to go to Vandy. They got to go to Florida, to Mississippi State. They've got Vandy back at home. A lot of tough competition, and you're still talking about a team with mostly freshmen and sophomores that still have a lot of room to improve. You look at individual performance, there's still areas where everybody can get better.
Well, it can't get a lot better for Louisville than they were against UConn the other day, because what's hot for the Cards is just about everybody dressed in red because they absolutely crushed the NCAA champions.
That's about as good a display as I've seen in quite some time. So I'm happy that we're playing great defense and feeding off it. They played very good defense in the first half. But I think all our guys, this was a very good confidence builder going into a very rough stretch of at West Virginia and Syracuse home. So it's good for the guys to see that if they play great defense, good things can happen offensively.
You know, after that stretch that Louisville went 2 for 4, 2 and 4 in 6 games, they need all the confidence they can get, and I think this is a big confidence builder for them. Walking in that locker room after the UConn game was like a party. I mean, they were jumping up and down. You would have thought you were in a club. They were jumping up and down. They're all listening to music. They were slapping each other, on the back. They were high fiving. It was a wild atmosphere, and those guys were absolutely having fun. It was great to see, because I think what it was just a month ago, that locker room was like a morgue. I mean, it was so quiet, and there's all this talk about chemistry issues and all that kind of thing. Tell you what solves chemistry issues: beating UConn by 21 points.
Who's not hot is everyone else in the SEC. Gator coach Billy Donovan says when it comes to collections of talent, nobody in the SEC is close to the Cats.
But, I think John told me they're going to Vanderbilt next. That's a hard game. Vanderbilt's really, really good. I think Kentucky may have to go to Mississippi State. Mississippi State's really, really good too. They're talented. I think that right now they're playing at a very, very high level, and they're playing very, very well. And that's not to say that they're going to win them all. It's not to say they couldn't win them all. But I still think there's some good teams in the league. But I think, in terms of their talent level, there's nobody.
Yeah, Billy kept making the reference 1 through 7. Nobody's close to them, not only in the league but in the country, and that's part of the problem. Other teams have good players; they just can't go as deep as UK can. talent-wise and scoring ability-wise. Now, you say that because the rest of the SEC is not hot, because the highest-ranked team behind UK was number 7, Florida, and they got blown out by 20 points. So obviously, they're way ahead of the rest of the SEC. The difference is, as we talked earlier, they still have to go to Mississippi State, to Vandy, to Florida, and those guys say, hey, hold on a minute, let us have a shot at you down here, and then we'll talk.
You know, even Florida did get off to a good start against Kentucky,
Yeah.
but in that game, Darryl, there was never a sense to me that Kentucky was going to lose that game, even when Florida got out to that start.
Now, I kept having people ask me before the game about what's going to happen. I said, they're going to win by at least 12, maybe 15. Oh, you're crazy. Florida shoots threes. They haven't seen a defense like this. Nobody's seen a defense like this until you get it up close and personal.
What's not hot is UConn. That team looked totally unmotivated the other night. Of course, Jim Calhoun is sidelined with back problems. Louisville broke the Huskies' spirit in the second half. Here's what Chris and Russ Smith had to say about it.
Broke their spirits. I mean, I would say it's hard for them right now because, you know, they're down here. We went up, and it's hard to come back if you don't have, you know, the will within your team.
Do you feel like you broke their spirit?
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, we were trying. That's what we were trying to do, and if that's what we did, then I'll play it.
And that's exactly what they did. I think Russ Smith was being gracious in saying that, I don't know if that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what you did. I wrote, you know, later in the evening that that essentially Louisville, Providence, UConn. That's what Louisville looked like against Providence.
Yes.
Nothing went right. Their spirit was broken, and that's what UConn looked like. I mean, they just looked completely defeated the last 10 minutes of the game.
Well, we've spared no expenses. We've got Howie a present. This is a picture of a college basketball
thank
player.
you, guys. Oh, that's nice.
The buzz at Kentucky is this poster of Anthony Davis. It is, Howie looked it up, that 7'4" wingspan?
7'4".
And John Calipari, we were told after the game, Jeremy Riggs, our producer, said that after the game, Cal said, that's 9 basketballs and 1 unibrow. 1 eyebrow. But this is the poster that Kentucky's putting out to promote Anthony Davis as the national Defensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely right, and if he keeps playing the way he's playing, it's going to change into National Player of the Year. There's a lot of talk now that maybe he should be the National Player of the Year as well, because he's a freak of nature. Now, we've been saying since preseason, ladies and gentlemen, this is your #1 NBA draft pick. And a lot of people are like, are you sure? Yeah, trust me. He does things that nobody else can do, and it's going to take a while for him to get up to that level, and he's there now, and he's just going to keep getting better and better.
Here's what Anthony Davis had to say about this iconic poster.
I guess you said you didn't know it at the time, but now knowing that that's kind of like a remake of the old Jordan poster, you're a Chicago guy, you wear 23, is that kind of cool to you?
Yeah, it's real cool, especially doing like that after one of the greatest backup player ever played, so it was real great and honest.
The players were looking at the poster before the game because they were put out on all the seats, and they were getting a little bit of a hard time, but not too bad. It's like, you know, we start asking, hey, dude, where's your poster? And they're like, let him have his. They had a lot of fun. It was a very unique idea, and I applaud UK because we've given them a hard time through the years. You don't do enough of this stuff for your guys. How I can attest, you get notebooks during football season for all these All-American candidates from all schools all over the place, and UK is always kind of sat idly by. You got to get out and promote your guys, and this was a good thing to do.
And that's an incredible poster.
Yeah,
I think you were telling us that the eBay, that those things are going for $150.
You got to love Cat fans. One poster on eBay the day after the game was up to $150. We saw 7, 8, 9 entries on eBay as high as, 30, 40, $50 a piece. And I don't know if they're still there because that's an NCAA violation, guys. For all you out there selling those posters, you can't do that for an eligible athlete. UK, I'm sure, was working to have those places shut down.
Well, the buzz at the University of Louisville is Peyton Siva. No poster for Peyton. But he does have the respect of the coach. He's been saying that Peyton Siva is a difference maker on this team, and here's Coach telling us why.
I thought he was terrific because he didn't turn it over, and what he's been doing is not changing pace, been going at one speed. Tonight he kept changing pace, pulling up for his mid-range jump shot, finding people, and he really made us go.
I thought Peyton Siva was absolutely tremendous. He's doing that stop and start move. He's so fast up and down the court now. He's got a little 16-foot jumper. He hit a 3 the other night, which we haven't seen in a long, long time. And that dunk right there, I mean, he just sped past everyone straight up for a dunk. That was not on film anywhere. I don't blame UConn for not guarding that because they'd never seen Peyton Siva do that this year, and he's looks like the player that Rick Pitino said he would be in the preseason.
Well, Daryl and Howie are not the only guys who know a good cause when they see one. Among the polar plungers last weekend in Gilbertsville, Kentucky was hospital administrator Jerry Penner. He heard that his employees at the hospital were raising money for Special Olympics. He upped the ante. He said if their medical team could raise $5 grand, he'd take the plunge, and he did.
Why do you do it?
Well, we do it for the support the community. I mean, it's part of the responsibility of the hospitals to maybe reach out and take care of those folks around us. And you know, I've even got our own special needs children out there that we like to help out. And first time I ever worked with Special Olympics, I was right here as a student in 1980, and it was such a gratifying experience. So how could I pass this up coming back home to Murray Callaway County Hospital? Had to do it.
Thank you.
What a cool cause! I mean, I think it's great and it's easy too. I mean, if you want to take the plunge, be sure to check out soky.org. Or if you don't want to take the plunge, just help us do it. Yeah. Click on the logo, red and blue. We're the crazies. Just let us do it and donate to our cause. Red and blue Polar Plunge Challenge. You'll see that logo on there. Click it and help us out.
And if you don't have time to write this down, just check out this week's issue of the Cat's Paws on my page 3 column page. There's a note on how to do it. Go make fun of Howie. Can't beat that.
And appreciate what you guys do for athletes across the state with intellectual disabilities. Well, you heard Billy Donovan say Kentucky is the best team in the SEC, but how does he compare the Cats to the two teams most likely to challenge Kentucky for the NCAA title? We'll have that after Daryl tells us about the Cat's Paws website.
Appreciate it, sir. Post-Florida, there was tons of coverage all over the place. We had 3 or 4 stories, photo gallery. We're going to have previews of the Vandy game and tons of coverage coming up from Nashville as well. And of course, recruiting never ever stops. That's out there as well. 30-day free trial is still underway. Simply go to catspaws.com to get started.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
When you need a truck, Bachman Chevrolet is your truck headquarters. I'm Teresa Bachman. Even during our construction, we have more trucks than any other dealer. Silverado, Colorado, Tahoe, or Suburban, Bachman is your #1 Chevrolet truck dealer. Nobody beats Bachman's price or selection on any Chevrolet, including Traverse and Equinox. Chevrolet has what you need, and Bachman Chevrolet has what you want. Bachman makes the difference.
Bachman makes a difference.
When you visit Kentucky and savor some of its unique experiences, you'll be surprised by how much your vacation really comes to life. To plan your Kentucky vacation, call today or visit KentuckyTourism.com.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Our What Makes a Champion segment is brought to you by the Ali Center, where today Jenny Conkey says one of the champ's core values is conviction.
He is called the greatest, and Muhammad Ali has said that if he told people that enough, the world would start to believe it, and it worked. Muhammad Ali, whether he won or lost, He had an internal strength, a deep conviction to believe in himself. What makes a champion? Conviction.
What Makes a Champion is featuring this week five-time World Series champion Andy Pettit, who was in town hanging out with Howie, as everybody does when they come to town here. And he says what made him a champion wasn't so much his physical strength, but his mental toughness.
Well, I wasn't a guy that struck out a whole lot of people, you know. I wasn't a guy that when people watch me pitch, I don't think they said, man, look at the stuff this guy's got. I mean, he can go out there and just absolutely dominate a game and strike out 20 batters or anything like that. Sometimes it comes down to mental preparation, you know, being able to handle certain situations where maybe other guys that get out there in a certain situation, they can't handle it like maybe I could. You know, so I think the mental side of the game is huge.
It was fascinating talking to this guy. Not only does he have 5 World Series championship rings, one for each finger on a hand, and he's also got 19 postseason wins, which is more than anybody else in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
That is absolutely remarkable, especially considering, as he said, he's not necessarily all that physically gifted, although I will say he's every bit as big as I am. He's a big dude. I mean, tall and physical, and you could tell how he could be pretty imposing on the mound. I think what he was talking about, too, is interesting for, you know, Kentucky guys and Louisville guys in terms of mental toughness, because to play basketball at Louisville, to play basketball at Kentucky, you've got to be mentally tough.
You do.
Because you got people coming at you from all angles, and if you're a Yankee, I mean, they're in that same kind of bubble.
And those angles are good and bad. People pulling for you and people shoving against you.
Yep.
Both ways.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up now on our Game Time storylines, our topics include Ohio State, Syracuse, healed up hurt, attack of the MKG, and basketball is not like football. Coming up right now, Game Time storylines.
I think in terms of star power, you know, in terms of talent, 1 through 6 or 7, I think Kentucky has the most of anybody.
And Billy D knows what he's talking about. His Florida Gators have lost to Kentucky by 20, Syracuse by 4, and Ohio State by 7. He says among those teams, Kentucky is best, but not by much.
I think Ohio State's is kind of a three-headed monster with Sullinger and Buford, and I love the point guard a lot, and I think they're getting play out of Thomas. Now, we played them very, very early. I thought that they played well against us. Syracuse just has incredible depth, you know, and I don't know necessarily who would be better, because I think that Syracuse will play them all zone, and their zone's a little bit unique. But if you're looking at talent, I think Kentucky's got, when you look at, you know, they have clearly 6 guys that are going to be first-round draft picks on their team. I don't know if Syracuse has 6 first-round draft picks, but they have really, really good talent, and they have incredible length.
It's going to be fascinating to watch this play out, and you have to listen to Billy D on this. You look at the AP poll. UK's number 1, Ohio State, or Syracuse is number 2, Ohio State's number 3. Florida played all 3 of them on the road, so nobody has a better idea than Billy Donovan. And he said, you know, he gives the edge to Kentucky, but he's not going to hand the title to them by any stretch. He did say at one point, talking about UK and Syracuse, well, that would be a really good final. It would be a heck of a game to watch. And, you know, if you believe in the seed, if the seeds were to play out, that's probably what you would see in New Orleans, and it would be an interesting game.
One thing that should scare one of the lives out of the Cats is the fact, if they do play Syracuse, John Calipari teams, right or wrong, are dinged for not being able to handle zones, and nobody does 2-3 zone like Syracuse does.
Nobody does 2-3 zones, but you can't zone what you can't catch. And the athleticism on this team is phenomenal. They haven't seen anything like that in the Big East.
Gorgie Jang has healed up in just 2 days. This time last week, we were concerned whether or not Gorgie was going to be able to play. Tweaked his ankle a little bit, caused a little bit of stir on the U of L campus, but he played 31 minutes against a very physical and imposing bunch of Huskies.
No, he was fine. I was very surprised. We got lucky because it was an ankle sprain across the top of his foot more so than a high ankle sprain, so we got very lucky. He could have used him yesterday, but obviously we weren't going to.
Right after the injury, his teammates threw him under the bus immediately. They were not believing that Gorgie Jang was hurt at all. They said they'd seen it in practice before. He actually was hurt. He did have some sort of a sprain, but that didn't look hurt. I tell you, he joked about that move after the game. He said, Coach Pitino doesn't want me to do it because he hasn't perfected it yet, honestly. But that one time, wow. I mean, how do you stop this? Golly.
I was really impressed how he did against Oriaki. Oriaki's a very physical player, and I thought Gorky, surprisingly, when you compare body types, I mean, you think that was going to favor Oriaki, but he did fine.
And I think that's the body type that Gorky's had problems with in the past. If they're really long and tall and physical, he's not all that bothered by it. But if they're short and stocky and they, short, I'm talking 6'9", but if they push at him, he doesn't have that lower body strength, but he handled it really well.
We're going to talk about the attack of the MKG. I don't know that I've ever seen a kid rebound the ball and make a more darted attack to the rim than does MKG.
I'll tell you what, when he gets the ball in that open court, he takes 2 strides. He's about NBA line in 2 strides. He's laying it in through traffic, tucking the ball. He's pretty good. We always tell our guys, if he's out ahead of you, you must give him the ball. If you don't, you'll come out of the game because he's always going to make something good happen.
It's so much fun watching him go coast to coast because he's quick enough that he's avoiding the charges on these breakouts, and he handles the ball well enough that he can pull this off. He's a 6'7" small forward. He's not supposed to be able to do this, to get the rebound, to rip away the rebound. He had a double-double on rebounds and then take it coast to coast. That's the kind of athleticism you see on this team. It's quite freakish, and his NBA stock just keeps going up higher and higher and higher. Start of the year, the NBA scouts were complaining because he didn't have the greatest shot. He's won everybody over.
Well, Rick Pitino is talking about the fact that it seems obvious to us, but when you hear Rick explain it, basketball is not like football.
I think when you shoot the ball well, you play better defense. Guys deflate when the shot doesn't go in, no matter how much you tell them, don't worry about it, play defense. Football, you have a defensive team, you have an offensive team. In basketball, no matter what level you're at, people play with more energy when the ball goes in. And Peyton was doing such a good job of finding people, we were getting wide open shots. So you got to give a lot of credit to him. I thought Shane continues to play like a big time rebounder inside. I was so happy he made a 3. He's been dying to make a 3-point shot. And I thought Russ gave us great pressure as well. The whole team played well.
You look at what Louisville did, it really does translate. The better their defense plays, the better they look overall, and that's what we saw against UConn. Some stifling defense in the second half, and it led to some wide open shots. UConn's effort didn't help either.
We come back, we'll tell you why one of the cards says there may be a name change due at the Yum Center. Howie's going to tell us about CardinalSports.com.
You got it. The best place to get all your Louisville news, CardinalSports.com. We've got videos and post-game reports, and of course we're talking about Memphis to the Big East and what else is going on with the Big East Conference and the Big 12 Conference and all that kind of stuff. Check it out at CardinalSports.com. We've got a 7-day free trial right now.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
When you need a truck, Bachman Chevrolet is your truck headquarters. I'm Teresa Bachman. Even during our construction, we have more trucks than any other dealer. Silverado, Colorado, Tahoe, or Suburban, Bachman is your #1 Chevrolet truck dealer. Nobody beats Bachman's price or selection on any Chevrolet, including Traverse and Equinox. Chevrolet has what you need, and Bachman Chevrolet has what you want. Bachman makes the difference.
Bachman makes a difference.
When you visit Kentucky and savor some of its unique experiences, you'll be surprised by how much your vacation really comes to life. To plan your Kentucky vacation, call today or visit KentuckyTourism.com.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
What needs fixing on the Red and Blue Review? Brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvement.
What needs to be fixed at Kentucky is not much now that Deron Lamb has shown up. His best offensive output in a while, 18 points against the Gators. He's making almost 50% of his three-pointers.
I'm excited. I didn't know that.
Is it hard to not be impressed by 50%?
Yeah, it's hard to do that though. But I'm putting a lot of shots up for practice and after practice, and on days off. And my shots getting very well, looking very good. I got a lot of confidence in my range. So I'm just keep shooting the game.
What we're looking at here is the last piece of the puzzle. As good as UK's been playing all year, they were waiting on Terrence Jones. He figured it out. Deron Lamb's shooting was the last piece. Now that he's on fire the last several games, that's why these guys look so completely unbeatable at this stage. Everybody's on course.
And maybe what needs fixing at the University of Louisville, the Yum Center should be named after an amusement park, because Russ Smith said playing UConn in the Yum Center was like playing in Coney Island.
Something just clicked. We started breaking out, and it felt like practice. Practice, we running up and down. Second unit's been doing it well. The first team been doing it great. So, that was probably the best. That was the most fun I ever had, probably since going to amusement park.
Said it was like going to an amusement park. Ouch. If you're a UConn fan, you've got to hate that clip. But it was fun to watch. They pushed the pace, and that's really what fixes this Louisville team.
It really was a house of horrors for UConn. They looked as disinterested in a basketball game as I've seen, honestly, since Louisville against Providence.
Yep.
But I think everybody's healed now. We'll find out this weekend when we see you back here on Red and Blue.
The Red and Blue Review has been brought to you by PNC Bank, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, and the Muhammad Ali Center.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card featuring Chariot Run, Bardstown Country Club at Maywood, Rosewood Country Club, Indian Springs, Cave Valley Golf Resort, the Falls Golf Resort, the Bull, and Stonecrest Golf Course is available now. Get your golf tour card and play 8 great courses with cart for one low price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. You can play anytime, but you must get your golf tour card now.